by default. By law, he's allowed to do that. He has power of attorney to, as you being his client. So if we can scroll down to the next slide, you'll see that on your tax bill, and this is a typical municipal tax bill from Alleyn-Cawood, right? You'll see that obviously you have the name of the municipality, okay, which goes at the top of the form here, name of the municipality, and then you see it's for years 2025, 2026, 2027. So, Madame Cardinal, si on peut juste flipper en bas. There, you see? So, municipality, Alleyn-Cawood, spelled out in full. And then, exercise financier for years 2025, 2026, 2027. Okay? So, you have that right off the bat. So, c'est peut-être à remonter. Okay? Then you'll have the name and address of ownership. You'll have the address of the property. So be careful here, that's the address of ownership, and that's the address of property. So if it's your own property in Alleyn-Cawood, it could be the same. But if you live in Ottawa, then it's not the same. You see? So in this first portion, you have to put the address of the property. That's the one you're asking for a review. Right? And like I said, you would have the cadastre, which is the lot number. Some properties have multiple lot numbers. You try to squeeze them all in. If not, if you squeeze 1 or 2 or 3 and there's 4 and 5, that's okay. Because ultimately, you're going to need the roll number. That's the magic number. That's the file that is so unique to your property that it can't be copied anywhere else in Quebec. You see? So that's so specific that no matter what mistake you put here or what mistake you put there, if there's no mistake on the roll number, you're in. It's the most important thing. So we can flick down, Madame Cardinal. There we go. Coming in.
The roll numbers don't actually fit in the spaces, though, does it?
Yes.
No,
So
it doesn't. If it's called file number, right?
yeah, file number.
But it doesn't fit in the spaces that they.
Oh yes, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Yeah, that's zeros at the
Okay.
end, that's fine.
So you spell out Alleyn-Cawood, 2025, 2026, 2027. This is for administration purposes. Do not touch that. Then here you have the address of the property you're asking for a review. Right? So you have all the address here, and then you have cadastre. So you can put a lot in their line. 4, 5, 6 numbers probably. But if there's only one, there's only one. Simple as that. And if you look at your roll number, it's a sequence of 4 digits, 2 digits, 4 digits. Je vais remonter. You see? 4 digits, 2 digits, 4 digits. The rest is all zeros. You can leave it blank, or you can put in zeros, but it's all zeros. Right? The other digits, just to give you an idea, is for condominiums. So, unless your property is a condominium, there would be more numbers following the last 4 digits.
So, in reality, though, because every roll number that I have is different, I'll have to fill out the form.
Each one.
Regardless of cadastre, since putting all the cadastres in there.
Well, like I said, you can put the cadastre, but the roll number is really the identifiable thing that the municipality needs. Anybody needs to really zoom in on the property which you're asking for review.
Okay, fine.
So, this is the most important. So, si on remonte encore une fois, Madame Cardinal. Oh, excusez-moi. Clic, clic.
Yeah.
This is the magic number. 4 digits, 2 digits, 4 digits. The rest is all zeros. So once you get that down, the first section, which is the identification of the municipality, the years concerning, the address of the property, and the roll number, you're good. You got the right stuff. Right? So si on continue par le bas, right? So the second section on the form number 2, now you're putting the name of the owner, the address of the owner. Yes?
What happens if there's 2 owners of the property?
No problem. You can, only one could sign. There's only room for one signature. And by default, since you are co-ownership, you have a contract, you know, and your deed. So you have to decide who's gonna do it, you, him, or her, or whoever.
Okay.
But that's good for the group, right? The importance is one identification of the owner is good enough because this person is gonna receive all documentations relating to the request. That way it doesn't go 4 ways, it goes 1 way. Okay? So here you have the name of the ownership, 1 or 2. And you can put 2 if you want, it doesn't really matter, but it's gonna make it confusing for the person administering the request. So 1 name is probably that. The address of this person, which is the same as the property, put it in again. But if it's not, it's your address in Ottawa. That's where you're gonna get the correspondence, right? And as mentioned, they're gonna ask for your phone number and they're gonna ask for an email. Because in these days, phone number is a little redundant now because email is probably the best way to communicate. So, but if you don't have an email, don't put anything, that's no problem. As long as Canada Post is still working, hopefully. Yes.
Yeah, they say the address of a public road. In fact, my property is on a private road. I presume you just put in the.
Whatever, it's a home bill tax bill. It's a home bill tax bill. Whatever it says here,
Yeah.
put that in. If it says 0 Chemin Greedy, put 0 Chemin Greedy.
That's what I figured.
Because the other way of looking at it is your cadastre.
Right.
And the ultimate one is your road. See, so that's not a problem. So if we could go back down to, yeah. So here, it's the ownership's address. If it's the same, repeat. If it's not the same, put the address of the owner. To whom it's gonna go. Right? So here, they want to identify who's signing for this. That's all, right? So basically, it's the owner or co-owners, right? A power of attorney, you need one as a private citizen, or if it's a lawyer, he would say power of attorney, and he would sign lawyer. He's allowed to do that. And other, well, that could be other circumstances. Basically, I don't really know. So these are the 2 options. Who's signing this request? Owner, co-owner, or power of attorney? So I would say, most of you, owner or co-owner. So that's the first part of the form. We're done. Which unit, which property that we want to review, and to whom? We're good. And then we go down. And then they're going to ask on the second portion of the form, items 3 and 4, they're going to ask the origin of the request. Why are you asking for a review? And we'll show that it's the new assessment rule. And then the 4th part, which is the most intricate part, is why. Why are you asking for a review? And that's the following chapter coming up. It has to be not your life story, but why this assessment you feel that it is wrong. We're coming up to that. So if you look at, if you scroll up, so basically you have on your tax bill, you have your new assessment roll, right? Land, building, total. And do not forget that this assessment is marked as of July 2023. That's the benchmark of the market that the assessor used to establish this value. So he's looked at sales in 2023, 2022, and he says, okay, as of July 2023, bingo, 537,800. This is where we have a disagreement. Or you say to yourself, you know what? I think I can get that. If you can get that, well, have another cup of coffee, put that away, and go back to your life. Forget about it. Because if you feel that this is the price that you can get for your property, your assessment is correct. Because as of year 1 in the new assessment role, what's there should reflect market value. And it should reflect it as of that date. See? So if you disagree, then we go through to the next time. So here, they're gonna ask you, what's the situation? Why are you asking for a review? And for all of your cases, is because it's a deposit of a new road. If you look at the form in section 3, the first one is deposit of a new road. Just to give you a quick idea, the other ones are for modification of the assessment road. Let's say you built a garage, right? And the assessor reassessed your $538,700, and he's tacking on $100,000 for your garage. Whoa, 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 whoa. Then it's not the deposit of the road, it's a certificate of modification. But all of you today, it is the deposit of a new road. Okay?
So the deposit of a new road is because there's a new
It's a whole new day, yeah.
new subdivision that was assessed too high during COVID, which impacts on.
No, I will get to that in a sector. But a new assessment roll is everything that was done before, trash. He redoes his new assessment, he looks at the market, and he says, individually, this is what your value. If it went from 200 to 2 million, maybe he's right. Who knows? Right? So that's why at the 538,700, if you feel that that's what you can get for it, forget it. You're done. But if you put it at 2 million, it's way off. See? You really have to focus on this particular item because the request for a review of assessment is a review of assessment. Not what happened before. What's happening today. It went up 200%. Is it worth $538,700 today, July 2023? We'll see that further down the line.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry.
Yes.
I always wondered, I was just wondering, it's always, so if you think that it's worth 500,000, we'll say, I always thought the assessment was always less.
No.
So it's not it's market value.
When it's year one, you see why year one? Because year one, the assessment is tagged at July 2023, right? And we're today in March 2025. I agree, we're almost 2 years down the road.
Yes.
But when the road came into effect,
In 23.
right? And when he deposited in the fall of 2024, we're very close to where he pegged the market, which is July 2023. So on year one, in residential cottage, I'm not saying commercial, that's a different ballgame. But for residential and cottages, technically, that 538,700 should be your market value. What happens is that year two, now you're detaching yourself from the July 2023, and something could happen. Right now, we're having situations with the market.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Had during the pandemic and all that stuff.
Yeah, but the pandemic, yeah. But today, even today, we're having, the Bank of Canada just lowered the interest rate.
Yeah.
What is that going to do next summer? Yay, probably values are still going to go higher.
Yeah.
So let's say, no, Trump is doing this, we have to put the interest rate at 7.5 as it was 2 years ago. Oh, now we're trying. So you understand that year one, if nothing happened between July 2023 and January 2025, you're close to market value. Year two, you don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen next year, in 2026. And certainly less knowledgeable of what's going to happen in 2027.
So my next question is kind of sort of related, but when they go to value the property, they look at it, do they go and look at it and say, okay, it's just, we're in the middle of Lepoutre, in the middle of which we have no access to.
Oh yeah, I know where you are. Yeah.
We have nothing, it's a logging road. Did somebody come over there and say, hey, that place is worth 500,000?
They're supposed to.
They'd be lucky to find us. They would get lost. But anyways, so that's my thing.
This was a question this morning.
Okay.
We'll open that bubble. That way we can burst that bubble right away.
Okay.
Technically, the MRC, the assessment department, has to revisit all properties, everywhere in the Pontiac, every 9 years. It's the law,
Okay.
right? When he reassesses every 3 years, he should have at least some high percentage of files that were redone since he's redoing the assessment, right? And basically, he should have knowledge of assessment neighborhoods. I know exactly where you've been, because you know when I was there? When the guy subdivided the lot.
Okay.
20 years
You
ago.
know exactly.
I was there.
Okay.
You talking about a log road? There was no road.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
guy was
exactly.
driving sideways, 45 degrees to get to where he wanted to show me to appraise the property.
And of course.
So I know where you are.
The first part is Otter Lake.
Yeah.
And their taxes are half of ours. They're half.
And when I went back years after, there's trees.
Yeah, yeah.
They have to roll on trees to cross the creeks. I know where you
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
So his question is pertinent in the sense that you figured that somebody came to look at this. No, not necessarily.
I think that's the problem.
And that's, yes, and that is where you'll see the motives later on
Oh,
for the review.
okay.
Because if this guy's gonna multiply everything by 370%, then you sure about that?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Everywhere?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, this is where we're at.
Okay.
So you understand that there's a responsibility of, when I appraise something, I have to see it, I have to walk it, I have to breathe it, I have to inspect it properly.
Well, you would think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do
Right,
you
but-
only inspect the property, or do you have to go in the building itself?
in the building, in the building. The law permits the assessor to go in the building.
Yeah. Wow. In the building.
Oh,
itself.
yes, by law.
Yeah, nobody's come to visit us.
But that being said, you understand that that could be the problem of your
Yeah, that's-
assessment. It could be
that's
as
what it is.
simple as that.
Yeah.
Had you come and see what I look like on my lake, you would disagree with your assessment. So that's why the review process is still something that is acceptable for the ratepayer. It's a hardship, I understand, but that's,
We have to do
that's
it.
the way it's done.
Thank you.
Okay? You can't see 25,000 files, that's impossible.
No.
But that's why you're gonna point it in your direction and say, whoa, look, right? So you understand that here on number 3, everybody's putting an X here, only. Right? Nothing else, just one there. And then number 4,
What about the thing beside it to the right number, the notice of alteration?
no, nothing of that.
Just blank.
Just deposit of the new road.
Okay.
That's it, the rest is for modification. Right? Number 4, okay, we learned this morning. Number 4 is you're contesting the value of the property, obviously, right? So you put an X here, and here you have to give them an estimate of what you feel as being the proper value, market value. So 538,700, no. I think it's worth 400,000. That's what you put here. Which one is it? Is it the land? Is it the building? Is it a combination of both? It's coming. Next thing coming. But here you have to give your guesstimate of what you feel as being the fair market value as of when? July 2023. Okay? Go for a target that you feel is right. Maybe, yes, I'll be right with you. Maybe you saw property sold down the lake that's similar to yours that sold for 400 that you heard of. Why am I at 537,800? What's the deal? Okay? So try to zoom in by any information that you can gather on a guesstimate of where you should be. Because you're gonna have to justify that at one in your interaction with the assessor. Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask you, how do you support your argument? Like, I could put in any
Yeah,
number.
we'll see that, it's coming up, it's coming up. So, here, 1, 2. The rest has nothing to do with this. That's other, nothing to do. Actually, there's other description. Someone this morning said, well, the year of construction on my tax bill is incorrect. It wasn't 1974, it was 1984. Well, yeah, okay, but then you can put another X here and say, change date of construction, 74 wrong, 1984 right. The misspelling of your name, wrong address, anything other than the assessment, you could put there, right? And you can add information to this form. Like you can add addendums, maps, photographs, anything you want. You can add to that. So the major portion coming up is that we said we feel that 400 is more in line with what it should be. Now you have to explain why. And you have some words here that you have space to use. We're coming up to that in a second. So don't forget to sign. Inscribe your name in square letters and put the date. The date is important because that's the date you sign, and you should make sure that you get it benchmarked at the post office or online as soon as possible, because the ultimate date is the 30th of April. Business hours at the Campbell's Bay is 4 o'clock. So 4:15, you're out. So make sure that it's in by the 30th of April.
So if you do it online, would you get an email confirmation that?
I assume that you do, and according to what I've learned, you can even e-transfer the payment online for the fee, which is something we'll be discussing later. Yep.
And once it gets to the MRC on time, and you've got confirmation of that, I don't trust that it goes anywhere. I don't know how.
Okay.
What
Well,
do we believe?
this is a formal request for review,
Okay,
and the law states that you have to file it in on this form.
okay,
And the law says that once the 1st of May comes around, they have 120 days to respond to you in writing.
okay,
120 days should be the 30th of September, if I'm not mistaken,
okay.
right? So, and they could have an extension to the 1st of November if they're overwhelmed, they ask them permission at the ministry. But by the 1st of November, you have to have an answer in writing from them.
Okay,
Because after that, you can go to a tribunal,
okay,
and you have 60 days to do that. So there's no dilly-dallying on anybody's part.
okay.
So by the 1st of November, you have to have something in your hand,
All right.
right? By email, no phone calls. No. You don't settle on the phone. You settle in writing, sign at the dotted line.
So in the meantime, you have to pay the tax.
Pardon me?
So in the meantime, you have to
Yeah.
pay the
Oh, yeah.
tax.
Oh, yeah.
What's the bill?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have files, that are in the millions of dollars. My client doesn't want to pay the taxes, but I said to him, it's almost $1,000 a day in interest rate. I'll pay the taxes. I'll get a refund, and you get a refund plus interest, if you get a refund. So this is the section we want to discuss now, is why. You said where you wanted to go, but you have to identify or simplify your request to the assessor by explaining to him why. So that would be the next frame, right? So I broke it down into 5 possible motives for you to contest this assessment. The first one is an overall thing, whereas you feel that the 538,700 is out of whack. Doesn't matter if it's the land or the building. So the first one says the overall value is not in line with market trends. That means I don't agree with your 538,700. Or you can go to items 2 and 3. The land value is not in line with market trends. So if you have your assessment and you look at the building value, you say, oh, but the land, really, no, not good. Then you could zoom in and request a review specifically on the land. The assessor will understand that he's going to work on that part of the assessment and not necessarily on the building. If you use number 1, he's going to look at both. See? So, overall value, specifically the land value. So you start by saying that the land value is not in line with the market trends, and you say the land value does not consider, you know your property better than I do, You didn't see my land. You have to see my land. You have to get to my land. You know, you think my land is worth $200,000, you wanna cross over that bridge
Yeah.
in November? You see? So, I have no hydro.
No.
So you feel that the land value is incorrect, but maybe the cottage is at 75,000 and you say, oh, okay, I can
But
deal with that.
doing number one is for both.
Yeah, it's the overall value, you see, the overall,
The land value is
you see? Whereas if you don't use that one, you can use these two combined, and if you feel that that's where you want him to look at, is the land value, bring him into that realm. Bring him into that rabbit
So
hole.
you have to look at your tax bill and see what
Yeah.
they assessed that at. both
Yeah.
Separately.
You remember the 537?
Yeah.
But it was 97,000 for the land and it was the rest for the building?
Yeah.
And you say, well, you know, my house is at 400, it's not bad. But my land at 97,000, that makes no sense. See? So zoom in on the land. So you can imagine that if it's not the land, then it has to be the building. So the building value is not in line with market trends. The building value does not consider dot, dot, dot. And you know your buildings better than I do. Now, there was a question this morning. The value of the buildings is a bunch lump sum, 494,400. If you have a farm, how much is the house? How much is the barn? You can ask the municipality or the MRC to break it down. You have to call them, email them, and say, listen, I need a breakdown on my buildings. If you only have one cottage and a garage, no biggie. But if you have multiple buildings, you want to know which one is which. You put that chicken coop at 25,000, are you crazy? So that's where you're going to probably want to work, you see? But you need that you need the breakdown. So you email them on Monday, and you say, I want a breakdown of my municipal building assessment. You can do the same on the land as well. But they'll be kind of, not on the building. The building, they would have to give you that right away. But on the land, they say, well, put in your review and I'll answer you.
Does that cost you money
To,
to ask for further details on your
No.
formulation
No.
evaluation? Okay,
No.
I heard that it does.
well, I don't know if they put a fee on that. That's new to me. I retired of the municipal assessment business in 2018.
Okay.
7 years ago, I didn't have any fees for
Oh, yeah.
consultation. It's your file. They won't give you the information or have you view the file online.
Okay.
But if you're just asking a breakdown of the 450,000 on the building, he's gonna say 225 on the house, 100 on the farm building, and this and that and the other.
Okay.
That's free.
Okay.
Yep.
Angela and Sydney were talking about that they reduced the 370% down to 85%. But when I look at my tax bill, my land's gone up
Yeah.
four times.
Yeah. It's
And-
quite difficult
and
to
my building's 20%.
I know, it's quite difficult to visualize. What happened in the old assessment world? You had 3 years, right? 2024, 2023, 2022. 2022, everybody's happy, tout le monde va bien, it's good. 2023, not too bad. 2024, boom, there's a guy who developed a certain subdivision, and he sold his properties at a price that was never seen in Alleyn-Cawood. And the assessor said, well, I have to compare these assessments with these prices. Boom, they're 370%, which is incorrect in my mind. And the municipality is doing a fabulous job fighting for you guys that this will end soon. But in 2025, like I said earlier, everything is scrapped, right? And the proof that they're showing the minister is that if I took the 370% on this property, it gives me $800,000. Yet, in 2025, it's assessed at 530. So you see how your 370 ain't good and it was never good.
Well, no, I understand that, but my understanding was we had to reduce from 370 to 85.
That's the average for the whole.
That's average for the whole municipality.
Gotcha.
We have some properties who have seen an increase of 4,000%,
Yeah.
which is, it's completely, like, it's astonishing. It is absolutely.
That's wild. I've been doing this for a long time. Never seen that.
Is
The way, I don't know.
crooked there or something, or what's going on?
It really, really begs the question, yes, because this does
Yeah,
not make
crystal balls, I
sense.
don't know, maybe.
And, yeah.
But you have to be,
It's been really-
a municipal assessor is a professional, he's a member of an order, professional order in Quebec, and there's standards of assessment and appraisal. It's in our charter, right? So I don't know, I can't answer that question, how we reassess these properties, I have no clue. All I'm saying is that you have to face the reality of this result, not compare it with anything in the past. Don't go there because he's gonna say, well, I did that last year. Today, he's saying 537, 800. Where did you get that? My feeling is 400. And the reason why is I think that overall market is not there. I feel that the land is out of whack. I feel that my building is out of whack. See? So you really have three choices in the matter.
Or all three.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you do overall,
That's one,
then
that's
just
one.
use one. Use one and extend, you know, that you feel that the land is whatever, and you feel that the building is whatever, and go for that.
And it's legitimate if it's gone up 400%.
Absolutely, because the question that he asked, did somebody come and see my cottage? Have it appraised at
But
that
it's
rate?
not
He
one
probably
property.
didn't. Hmm?
It's not one property, it's many properties.
Oh, for sure, maybe, yeah, but
This is a standard 370%.
I understand, yeah.
So,
You would have to look at any cottages or homes sold in your basic area.
Right,
they
And
haven't been sold.
right.
Not much being sold.
as I said.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so that's a difficult, that's a difficult. And I understand that you do not have a license like I have a Centris license, that I have the database of all sales in Quebec, from les Îles de la Madeleine to Gatineau to Alleyn-Cawood. I have them all in pristine color with pictures, dates, registry numbers, and I have the registry office, I can verify the deed of sale and so on and so forth. That's my business, right? You do not have access to that, and I can't give you access to that because I would lose my access. I'm not allowed to publicly give you that information.
I was just wondering as well, if there hasn't been cottagers or properties sold, but there's a different municipality right next door to you where you have seen their
Absolutely.
values of their.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're crossing, so is this okay? We got a hold on this particular item? So you have over 1,200 spaces of words in that section that you can type in or write in, and zoom in on the overall value, the land value or the building value, and tell your story. He will understand, and that's where he's gonna look at, and stick to that. Right? And if you forgot something, don't worry about it. In the negotiations and the back and forth, normally you'd say, well, you know what, I forgot. It's maybe not 400, I think it's 350 because I forgot to tell you this. So you're not stuck to the 400, not cemented
Look at all these.
in any way. So how do you know what the property value is? There's two ways of looking at it. You hire an appraiser, and an appraiser will establish market value as of July 2023. I did some work for the municipality because we were waiting to see when he was coming up in 2025, and it wasn't 370%, it was overall 85%. So we know that the 370% is absolutely garbage. But it's there, it's on the books, and they don't want to write it off. They're fighting for you on that. See? So we did that work. So you do an appraisal. That's the most expensive part. Or you can start looking, and there's a lot of internet sites that you can look at and say, oh, this is what they're asking for new properties on market today. You're going to say, Charles, well, this is not July 2023. Agreed? It's not July 2023, but it's what's on the market today. And you would be surprised that, oh, you know what? Joe is selling his land for $70,000. He's assessed at $175. Or I'm assessed at $175. That could happen. On peut aller au site Centris. We went there this morning. So this is public domain. Oh,
establishing what the value is worth, can you use things like it's not year-round access?
Yep.
It's not winterized?
See, these are all the specifics that you know about your land, your building, or your overall property. And in the mass assessment, until he's pointed to that particular deficiency, he doesn't know. Now, he should know if you do the review property and you make sure that your file is corrected. No hydro, no access, not winterized, so on and so forth. Because if he's gonna blend all sorts of sales and say, you know what, just gonna go 370% for everybody, he's wrong.
That's what happened.
So you see, if you go to centris.ca, you have it in English and in French, just click on the English or French, and you go to Alleyn-Cawood, and Alleyn-Cawood. I think if you scroll down, whoop. So now, so that, keep. Okay. No. No way. No way. You all properties. Ah, well, there we go. There we go. Well, it's still not specific.
You say,
There you should get it.
There you go.
Ah, there we go. So you see, you get to Alleyn-Cawood, and this is what's for sale right now. It doesn't relate to July 2023. I agree. But it's certainly got an idea of where you should be landing. If you know these properties, you say, oh, that's my neighbor. Oh, I know that guy. I've seen that cottage before. And look at what they're asking. Gives you an idea. So you see, 40,000, 225, just for fun. That's the only thing that's 225. I'm intrigued as an appraiser. Just go and scroll down a little bit.
4 millions square feet.
Yeah, but what's the lot number?
It's gotta be.
Come on.
got lots there,
Where is it?
42.
right under,
municipal tax and.
Yeah, he says the municipal assessment is 57.5. I think that's the old one. That's 2024.
Yeah.
So can we figure out what it's valued at on 2025, just for the fun? Does everybody know this site, Monet?
Yes.
Yeah?
For sure.
That's a good one.
And that's what I see here.
You can't find that stuff anywhere else in Canada or the United States. This is one of the best systems anywhere in North America, guaranteed.
I noticed when I'm in that site, the lot, the cadastre diagram does not necessarily match the calculation of the frontage and the side of the property all the time.
Yeah, but that has to be resurveyed. What's the valuation, just for fun? You see? 100. It went from 7,000 to 100,000. What is he asking for?
225.
I'm sorry? Oh, 57. Okay, is double?
225.
That's been 225. So you may disagree with the market and say, no, but it is the market. I'm sorry.
It hasn't sold.
but that's what he's asking for.
Yeah,
That's not what he got.
yeah. Was it sold?
It's for
Yeah,
sale,
of
it's
course.
not sold.
But when you're asking something, and if you look at Centris statistics, it's within 90% of asking price, sale price. So if he doesn't get 225, it could be down to 200, 210, to something.
But I'm
So-
surprised that the lot didn't get like we got, like 400%.
Yeah, but I agree, it's 100%. But what I'm saying, okay, going back to your own property, you're asking for a review, and you say, I want $400,000. He's gonna say, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but at one point, you're gonna have to show him something. And this is probably an area where you can find it, yeah.
So if we're all saying that we think the assessment is so out of whack, don't we have a right, doesn't the township have a right to scrap the whole roll?
They did.
We tried, yeah. We were a bit late coming in and we did try. We had proposed to municipal affairs to completely eliminate the assessment roll of 2025 because it was so flawed. Unfortunately, they say no, it's under section 171 of the Municipal Taxation Act that we used for that, and they're saying like, good try, but no, we're not gonna let you. So we're still fighting with them.
It's very,
for
very,
that.
very, 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 very difficult.
It sounds like we need a lawyer, what we need.
Oh, no, we do.
Oh, they have a lawyer.
We do, and our lawyer had also advised us when we approached him with this, like he said, like, hey, ladies, because it was Isabelle and myself, you can try this for sure. It has never been done, so if it does, like, you're gonna go down in history of being the first municipality to do this. So we said, we'll rise to that challenge, and we will sure try.
So the tax, so the whole directive is bogus then, because you read it, and it sounds like, oh yeah, you can just scrap the whole roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
It's a very hard one.
The response we got from municipal affairs was that we have this reassessment process, so ratepayers that feel that their evaluation is not right, to use this process, so this is the reason why we're doing these presentations today, so the most people can get the information and ask for it.
This is your, what you're calling, application for annulment.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
that was the
Yeah.
annulment of the, rule.
It's never been done.
Yeah.
Never been done. In almost 50 years, I saw it once, way back in the 80s, if I remember correctly. So,
We're trying everything possible, any idea, any possibility, any, like, extreme as it sounds, we're trying it. Like,
And one way of getting some fairness in the review process, insist that the person come and visit the property. Insist. How can you appraise something if you haven't seen it? I'm sorry, but I have to walk it, I have to smell it, and say, where the heck am I? They said, okay,
But
we're
this
not
could
on
also
301,
backfire.
that's for sure.
This could also backfire on you too, could it not?
Of course. That's a two-way street, sir.
Yeah.
That's why the law gives them permission to go inside. I remember this cartoon bit, I can't remember which, Mickey Mouse or something. He had a really old shack, on the outside, and on the inside was a palazzo. So when the assessor went by, he said, "Ugh," but inside it was beautiful.
we have had, ratepayers here who have appealed and had a reassessment done, and it has come back at higher than what was previously reassessed.
So it is important that you look at the 537,800 and say to yourself, ask yourself, am I in the ballpark? Yeah? Well, let's have a cup of coffee and do something else. But if you're 100,000, 50,000, or whatever the amount you feel that is incorrect, go for it and make sure that your file is correct and make sure that they inspect the property and that the file is correct. Would it be the date of construction, the quality of construction? You have to come and see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you put in your application, now you're waiting for a response.
Right.
Which could take 4 months.
No, it's 120 days. Yeah, it's 4 months. 4 months. They have maximum until the 30th of September or the 1st of November, if
And
anything.
at that point, when they respond, it could be, we're not going to do anything.
Exactly. Could be yay or nay.
Or, okay, we're going to look at it, which means.
No, they have to propose. At this point, they're gonna give you a new number. There's no after that.
Without
If
sending somebody.
it's a yay, he's gonna say, I'm gonna take your 537. I listened to you on the land value, and I brought the land value down from 97.8, I brought it down to 70. So your new assessment is not 537,800, it's minus 20,000. It's 517.
Did he come to that conclusion because somebody went out and looked at it?
Hopefully. That's what I'm saying. Insist that he comes.
Can you
Or
insist?
maybe he's relooking at it and say, you know what, okay, the land is a little high, I'll take 20,000 off the land.
So the chance that he's too lazy to come and look at it, he'll get a break.
I can't speak to that. I have no
That's the
issue.
issue.
So you understand that you have to decide if it's worth it. Because if it ain't, there's two things that are gonna come out of this. One, for sure, if you're really insistent, your file is gonna be what you want it to be. You're gonna look at it, you're gonna say, yes, this is correct. And after that, if the assessment you disagree, you can go to court. I'll come to that in a second.
Just at the end here, it says include the sum of money determined and applicable to the unit assessment concern.
Yeah,
So
that's our last slide,
when you
right?
file your application, there's money involved, right?
Yeah, they're coming up. Look. 2 seconds.
It's asking for the money.
Just so you feel the edge. Just flick it down. Flick it down. There you go. And then go to the last. These are the fees. From 0 to 500 is $91.35. From 500 to 2 million is $365. And from 2 million to 5 million, for all of you that have those properties, of course, $680.60. And for Elon Musk, it's the $1,200.
Is that the number that you put in, or is that?
No, that's the MRC.
Oh.
That's the MRC.
If you're just appealing the value of the land, and it's under 500, that land alone, do you pay 95 or 360?
No, it's over the overall value. You see? Good one. I want you to negotiate my next one. For sure that it's the overall assessment.
Another question. On GoNet or the Citrix, you said we could look at that for comparable properties.
On Centris.
Yes, on Citrix.
Centris.
I have 4 sheets here of properties, just land only, that were sold in 24-25.
Right?
My property is valued at 260, the land only at 267 right now.
Right.
These are properties bigger than mine, more than an acre. They start at 19,000 sold, and the highest one was 150.
So you see, that's, you see, when I said you can add stuff to your review, add that to your
So
review.
that is applicable.
If you see that there's like major repairs on the house, or the building is so old, I mean, some cottages, come on, they date back to the 19 boonies, right? It's a nice cottage, but it's a cottage, you know? It's old, you know, I have to change the roof, everything. Maybe he didn't consider that property in his depreciation. So take pictures of the building. If there's a big boulder of rock in front of your property and you can't access the water, or it's steep like that to get to the lake, take pictures of the topography of the land and say, you know, probably you didn't consider that. So don't slice me into the 370%. I'm not that 370% particular.
Interesting you should say that about the ravine lot, because I had put in for a reassessment in 22.
Yeah.
22, 23, 24.
Right.
It's done. On the basis of it's a ravine lot, nothing can be built on it, there's a road behind it, and it
Yeah.
goes like this.
And what happened?
They came out, appraised it, guy said, oh my God, you're right, nothing can be built on this.
And?
He came and appraised it, and now it's been appraised at 4 times its value.
See, that's a failure of computerizing that data into your file. You see, you have to understand, I'm going in the backgrounds now. The computer systems that we use for municipal assessment has billions of data, right? Bits of data. And we have a lot of data pertaining to your land, a lot of data pertaining to your building, and so on and so forth, and all the pictures that we gather over the years. So if he had put in on the land topography minus 40% or minus 60%, whatever it was, right? It would have been computerized forever.
So I have
But
to
he
pay
didn't do that.
$90 to do this again, because.
And then you'll say that you remember me?
Yeah, that doesn't help, I still
Yeah,
pay
but you
$90
see,
for
in
it.
my MRC, if that happened, we reimburse you.
That's what
In my MRC when I was there.
It is really important to note that Angela had approached the MRC Pontiac and asked them, because of our, according to them, anomaly of a situation, that they waive the reassessment fee for our municipality, and they denied that. And so we are getting zero support.
The reason they did though, and to be honest, they said that it's a provincial thing, that they have to charge, and I didn't really believe it. So I actually have it, no, I'm serious, well, I mean, so I have it in writing with the link to the bylaw from the province that states that the MRC have to charge those fees. I don't agree with it, but at least.
They can change, they can charge any fee that they want. Because the city of Gatineau is way more expensive than that. The city of Gatineau is way more expensive than that. So they're allowed to make their charts, their fee. But in your case, what you have to do, I'm sorry to say, is probably go back to the Campbell's Bay and say, you're gonna put this in your computer right now, in front of my eyes, that you're depreciating my land as a ravine lot, minus so much %. And I wanna see it computerized, because a computer never forgets, right?
However,
Next time comes around, lot values are so much higher, but you click, stop, minus 60%.
but I still have to have it reassessed.
Yeah, You see, that's what I'm saying, you have to make sure that these systems are efficient and well coordinated by, not saying incompetent, but saying by people who are doing it actually in the computer system. You'll never have a problem again.
So where does somebody like you come into this?
I don't come into anywhere, I'm here for a clinic on information.
But you said we can hire.
Yes, my fees are gonna be way over what you need at this point in time. At this point in time, it's an administrative review that you're asking the MRC. You can actually spend the money, you're actually spending the money if you want, right? But if not, you can go with this process and find your information on the net and try to negotiate. If you're going to court, if you say, well, I'm not done, I'm going to court, okay, then you need an appraiser. And 100% guaranteed you need an expert opinion, because the judge is going to empathize with you, sympathize with your difficulties and so on and so forth, but he says, where's the proof? I need values, I need sales. And you can't do that. I can do that.
That still might be worthwhile over the long
Yeah,
term.
if you feel that you want to spend that money, be my guest. I've calculated in big municipalities, big cities, you need a diversion of a difference in the assessment of $2.5 million for it to be worth your money.
Just a question on the fees, so.
Yeah, I just had one more question here.
Because it's right to the point, if you want to allow me. It may appear a facetious question, but I'm dead serious when I'm asking. We're dealing with public servants. Why is there a fee charge at all? Those people are already getting paid. I'd like to understand where that money goes.
No. I have no clue. I disagree with the fee. I disagree with the fee. You know why the fee exists? I know when it came about is that the big cities were saying it's a strain on our civil servants, and it's what it's called in French, un ticket modérateur. Oh, you want to contest? That's $365 to you. If you plan on saving $300, are you really going to spend $365 for $300 in return? That was the equation from our dear government. So they said, you know what? We're going to do a ticket modérateur. That's what they call it. I don't know if you say that in English.
Okay, follow-up question. In your experience, did you experience a lot of review requests that were overwhelming the staff that was there, or the budget that was there?
Where?
In your general experience over the decades that you worked that
Well, no, I've never mentioned this before, never seen 370%.
I mean, people don't do this because they
I know, I agree,
burden themselves with this, with this
I
stuff.
can't do an autopsy on what happened. I'm not into that right now. If the municipality could get an inquiry board and to understand why this assessment was, in this particular area was not decentralized from the rest in order to minimize the proportion median and that could be an inquiry that we want to put in, but that's looking back. I'm sorry, you had a question?
Oh, I just, if I'm doing multiple assessments, 500,000 I get.
For each file?
For each file. So
Yeah.
even
So if you have one at 300,000, that's the 91, and if you have one at 600,000, that's 365.
Well, if I have two that would get under the 500,000, can they
Then
combine?
twice 9135.
So it doesn't really matter. Okay.
For each one, so you always, if, let's say you have 5 properties that are under,
Yes.
all under 500,
Yeah,
you'll pay the 91.
It's a township budget question that I have, so.
Sal has some, he was so nice to come here today